Christy. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to card 10 in my 2017 Valentine series. Today I'm going to be using this sweet set from Penny Black called Woodland Friends, as well as the Spring Fling 6x6 by Pebbles. It's got a lot of really beautiful patterns in there. This one has 36 papers but only 24 designs, so there's 12 singles in there. So I've stamped out these two sweet little bunnies on some Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth Premium White cardstock, and I'm going to start out with Copic Coloring today. I'm using my warm grays to shade my bunnies. So I'm starting with the W3, and I'm going to lay that down every place where I want my deepest shadows to be. So any place where, like where his leg is overlapping his belly, or at the base of his ears, or any place like that that would be in darkest shadow, right behind his tail there, or where the tail joins the body rather. I'm going to put those darkest shadows. Then I'm going to take my W1 and I'm going to just catch that edge of the W3 and begin to blend that out a little bit, softening that color and drawing it out. And I'm going to do the same for the second little bunny, shading under his head right there, and then just taking that W00 to blend everything out nice and smooth so that they still look white, but they definitely look more three-dimensional and a little more realistic because they have those shadows. Now some of this W is going to get covered up with the next step that you'll see in a minute here, but I wanted to go ahead and put it down because I wasn't sure where I was going to do my next shades, and that way I wouldn't miss anything or have to go back and add any of those warm grays. So now I'm going to take the E53, E55, and E57, and I'm starting with that E57. And I wanted to give these bunnies some speckles and spots and stuff to just give them a little more personality. Gave him a little spot around his eyes, and then I'm coloring in just a couple little spots along his body, stripe along his back, and I'm giving him one brown ear as well. I'm going to do the same to my second bunny, so they can look like they're part of a family. Just kind of adding. Wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to put everything, so I was just being cautious as I went. Then I'm taking that E55 and I'm trying to blend that out. If you've been watching my channel for a little bit, you know that I've been having some troubles with my brown markers. They just need to be refilled, and I didn't have any refills. So as soon as I was done filming this video, I went and placed an order and got my brown refills because this just wasn't going to work anymore. I would switch to different brown families, and now they're just like all empty. They're all dry. So refills are coming for my E markers. Some of them anyway. So now I'm just consulting my color chart off to the side there and trying to figure out if I had any browns left that weren't dry that would blend this out a little bit. And I came up with the E31. It's not a perfect match, but it's going to do in a pinch for today. So I'm just going to blend out a little bit with that so that there's smooth transitions there. And I'm just going to make it work. Sometimes you just have to make it work because you don't want to give up on what you've already started. So mainly I just want to blur the edges of those spots and things that I've added so that they look like part of the fur. So then I'm just going to take my colorless blender, my zero marker, and I'm going to go around the edges of that, just clean up any bleeding and also soften out the edges just a little bit more so everything just works together and looks more natural. Even though they don't look exactly the same, these bunnies remind me of the bunnies from the book Guess How Much I Love You. That's the book that I used to read to my belly when I was pregnant with all three of my boys. So it has a soft spot in my heart, and little bunnies have a soft spot in my heart as well since they were the characters in that book. So I went back to my E57 and just gave the bunny on the left a little brown foot, and then I shaded in the rest of his feet with the W1. And now I'm taking my R20 and shading the insides of their ears, and then also just giving them a little bit of a rosy cheek there. I'm going to take my colorless blender and just fade the edges of that as well and go over the edges of the ears to make that kind of like a soft transition. And then I'm going to grab my R22 because I thought that it needed just a little more dimension down at the base of the ears. So I'll add just a couple flicks of that and then go back with my R20 and blend that in. And while I had those two shades out, I decided to go ahead and color in the little hearts that are just floating up in the sky there, which will make it perfect for a Valentine card. This image could also be used for just friendship or everyday or love or springtime, you know, you can also use it for Valentine's Day, like I'm going to do today. So I'm going to take my BG11 and just color in the petals of the daisies just close to the center, leaving the tips white. And then I'll take my Y17, and I decided that was a little too strong to use by itself, so I added the Y13 to just blend that out a little bit. And then I started to put those away. I thought I was going to color my flower a different color, but then I decided to just do it yellow as well. So I pulled those same two shades back out and put the Y17 down towards the part that's facing towards the ground. Since it's kind of drooping over, it would be in shadow, and blend it out with the Y13 at the top. Next, I'm going to color in the leaves on my flower stems, and I wanted a nice fresh green, so I chose YG05, YG07, and YG09. Now I'm not going to use all three of these shades on the leaves. I just used the YG09 and YG07 for those. But I pulled out all three because I'm also going to be doing the grass next, and I knew I would need all three shades for that. So I'm starting with the YG05 and just doing some flicking motions up towards the top to create some little grass. I'm also going right over the bunnies so that it looks like they're sitting in the grass, so the grass isn't just behind them. So I'm going to color about 4 rows with this YG05, and you know, just flick in the direction that's comfortable for you. If it's easier for you to flick towards yourself, you may want to flip your paper upside down so that you can get those nice little tips. You want it to be a little bit fatter at the bottom and then narrow off towards the top. So now I'm going with the YG07, and I'm going to go right over top of that YG05, just kind of adding in some more shading and dimension by adding the extra color. So I'll just finish off this last third row here with that color, and then I'll switch to the YG09. So now you can see when you add in the extra shades how it really brings it to life and makes it look just a little more natural and a little more whimsical, not so flat and one-dimensional as it would be with just one shade. So when I was finished with that, there was still a little bit too many white spaces in the center, so I just went back over everything with my YG05, just kind of doing some broad strokes to just fill in those white spots. And then I decided I still wanted just a little bit more dimension, so I grabbed my G19, and that's going to just add a little bit of a deeper shade. This one I'm going to use a lot more sparingly than the other three, but it will just create a nice accent, and I'm much happier with that. So now I'm going to pull out my Misty tool, and I'm taking the Lawn Fawn Extra Special Easter stamp set. I thought this sentiment would go perfect with these little bunnies here. So I've got that held down with my magnets in my Misty right where I want it, and I'm going to stamp out the You're Irresistible sentiment with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I think that can definitely also work for Valentine's Day. Now I'm going to take this wonky stitched rectangle stacks Dynamics from MFT, and I'm just going to tape that right down over top of my image so I can die cut my focal panel, and that gives it that really cute little stitching detail around the edge. I wanted to add in a little bit of a sky background, so I pulled out my craft mat and my tumbled glass distress ink, and I'm going to take an ink blending foam and I'm going to add a little bit of that to my panel here. I'm not going to go the whole way around the top edge because the grass also doesn't go the whole way across the edge, and I think that would look a little odd. So I'm just going to add it here and there in spots so it has kind of a cloudy sky effect. So I put it on 2 different spots on the top and then 1 on each side. Kind of just pull that color in from all angles, but then you also have that white space that ties into the rest of the panel at the bottom. So I've taken the Lawn Fawn Stitch Party Banners die and just die cut the bottom edge of this one little piece of pattern paper to give it a little stitching detail that will tie into our focal panel. My card base is a piece of MFT's Pink Lemonade cardstock, scored and folded to a standard landscape style card. And now I'm going to take this bunny print and chomp the corners with my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, and I'm using the 1/4 inch setting. And that piece of paper was cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, so I have that nice pink edge all around my pattern paper with the card base peeking out. Then I'm going to take this kind of hexagon print here and I'm going to glue that down right over top. Just kind of getting that straight on the card. Then I'll press that into place. And then I'm going to add this little banner right over top of that. And that may look a little silly right now, but the focal panel is going to go right over top of that and cover that up. So I just wanted to move that down now that I saw where the focal panel was going to go, so that I can just have a little bit of that color peeking out at the bottom. So just adjust that. I love that you can do that with the Tombow Mono Multi Glue. Then I'm going to take some Scotch 3M foam tape. I buy it in this big roll from Amazon because I use it on just about every single card. And I'm going to add about 4 strips to the back of that, just so it's nice and well supported. I'll send a lot of these cards through the mail, so I want to make sure that they're going to hold up after all our hard work. So I'll just peel off the backer strips, and then I will line that up right over the front of my card. And when I have it right where I want it, I can go ahead and press that down into place. For the inside of my card, I'm going to take some Lawn Fawn Guava ink, and I'm going to take a sentiment from the Your Next Stamp Love and Smiles stamp set. That's a stamp set that I used in the very first card in this series for this year. And I'm going to stamp out the You Make Me So Hoppy sentiment. And I got a little bit of ink smudged up at the top there on my block, but I'll fix that in just a little bit. So now I'm going to take the penny black stamp that we used at the beginning, and I just want to stamp one of the bunnies. So I'm taking a piece of Post-it paper and I just covered up the bunny on the left so that I could ink up the bunny on the right. And I'm going to press that down really firmly to make sure that all the ink transfers. And then when I pull that up, there's just one bunny. So now I'm going to take an extra sentiment here. I thought that it still needed a Valentine sentiment, so I stamped up the Happy Valentine's Day and stamped that right above the other one. And now I'm going to take a couple of hearts from the Neat and Tangled Lumberjack Love. I had just used this stamp set recently, so it was on my desk, and I thought that would be perfect to cover up those little ink smudges. So I'm just stamping out that little solid one 3 times, and then I'll stamp out the little outline heart twice. And that is going to complete our card for today. And there's another look at those cute bunnies, and I think it's super fun to tie it in on the inside. I think it's an extra surprise for the recipient when they open it up and see something fun on the inside as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Here's a couple extra videos you may be interested in, and you can always click on my photo to subscribe to my channel. Also below, right next to the subscribe button, there is a little bell. If you click on that, it'll make sure that my videos always end up in your feed. And have a great day. Bye-bye.